Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to today's Tech Tuesday. My name is Vanessa, and we're going to be talking about Microsoft SharePoint lists today with Michelle Zhang, who's one of our SharePoint developers in our Software Development Services group in ITS. Before we get started, I just wanted to let everyone know we are recording today's session. So if there's anything you missed that you want to go back over, look for a follow-up email from me later on today. It's going to have a link to this recording as well as other helpful links to guides that may help you get started with SharePoint lists. Michelle has also put a link to one of our older SharePoint sessions. You can take a look at that and I'll include it in the follow-up email. And that's more of an overview of SharePoint rather than just focusing on SharePoint lists. So you can take a look at both of them at your leisure. We also have everybody on mute today, and that's because we just want to make sure that there's no background noises. So if you do have a question at any point during the session, please feel free to post it in the chat at any time, or just raise your hand and I can unmute you if you want to ask it out loud. And without further ado, we'll get started. Thank you so much, Michelle, for joining us.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. My name is Michelle Zhang, and I'm thrilled to be here representing the SDS App Dev team. Some of you might recall our insightful session from last year, where we delved into the world of SharePoint in general. For those who missed it or need a refresher, I've conveniently posted a link to our previous presentation in the chat box. If you are interested in the document management, which is the most popular feature in SharePoint, our comprehensive training course awaits you in the WBG Learning Center. So feel free to explore them later. Today, we are taking a step further to explore the world of SharePoint lists. It's not just a tool, it's our secret weapon for managing and organizing info in a super flexible and efficient way. So what's on the menu today? Let's take a quick look. We are going to check out what SharePoint lists is all about and how it's the backbone of our data organization. I will show you some cool features like creating lists, customizing views, and setting up security. We will delve into custom forms and content approval. Plus, we will explore possibilities for enhancing list functionality for using external AI services. Feel free to throw any questions my way as we go along. We will have a big Q&A session at the end where no question goes unanswered. And let's get this show on the road. A SharePoint list is more than just a data collection. It's a dynamic tool for organizing and managing information. Picture a spreadsheet or a basic database with data structured in rows and columns. In a SharePoint list, each row represents an individual record or a piece of data known as a list item. And each column, on the other hand, defines a specific type of information referred to as fields or properties. What sets SharePoint lists apart is their design for efficient data management and organization. Users can create and manage various types of lists using pre-built templates, making them both versatile and adaptable. Whether you are tracking projects, managing inventory, handling customer contacts, or overseeing approvals, SharePoint lists can be tailored to meet your needs. Creating a SharePoint list is a journey, and I'm here to guide you through it. Please let me know if you see my new screen.
Yes, it just popped up.
Okay, navigate to your SharePoint site and click the upper right gear button and select Site Contents. To create a brand new list, click on the New button at the top of the page. From here, you have multiple options to get started. To help you get started quickly and save your efforts, you can create a new list from a template. These templates come with pre-configured layouts, including columns, color formatting, and data structure. That helps jumpstart a common information tracking scenario. The blank list option allows you to start from scratch and define your own structure, formatting, and the data. The second option from existing lists is great when you want to reuse the structure, formatting, formatting, and the business rules of a list that's already in use and provides what you need. From Excel, allows you to upload an Excel file and choose the table of data that you'd like to input. From here, you can define the data schema to better suit your needs. Once everything looks good, enter a name of your new list, and your list is created with the data inputted. So consider different column types based on the data you want to collect and display. For example, a single line of text allows up to 225 characters. Multiple lines of text provides a larger text box and supports rich text formatting. Use choice to create a drop-down menu with predefined options. Person field associates a user or group with the item. Lookup field links to other lists or libraries. Remember, SharePoint provides flexibility, so customize your lists to match your specific requirements. After the data is imported, a default view is called All Items will be created automatically. Then you can tailor how to display the list items, making your list more user-friendly and visually appealing. Custom views allow you to filter, sort, and group data to focus on what's the most relevant. For example, I can filter the cost with billing questions, save the filtered views of data, save the filtered view of data for easy access next time. And formatting options enable you to make the presentation more visually appealing and intuitive for users. It's all about optimizing the user experience and ensuring decision-making. In this sample list, I want to shine a spotlight on the items people need to pay specific attention to. I can use conditional formatting to highlight the item that match a certain set of criteria. SharePoint list permission settings are crucial for managing who can access, edit, and contribute to the information stored within the list. By configuring permissions, we can ensure that sensitive data remains secure and that users only have access to the information they need to perform their roles effectively. Whether it's granting read-only access to certain users or giving full control to specific groups, permission settings help maintain confidentiality and integrity within the SharePoint environment. It's all about striking the right balance between collaboration and security. SharePoint lists are easy and simple to build. No development experience is needed. So once we've established a secure environment with appropriate permissions, we can further enhance our SharePoint lists by creating customized forms. The following part is explaining how what our SharePoint team can help you with. SharePoint allows us to create highly customized forms tailored to our specific business needs. These forms can include complex layouts, conditional visibility of fields, and dynamic form behaviors. Plus, they offer advanced data validation features to ensure data accuracy and compliance with business rules and regulations. Another powerful feature in SharePoint List is the alert and rule functionality. With alert, users can stay informed about changes to specific list items or conditions that meet predefined criteria. This ensures timely responses and decision-making. In addition to alerts, rules enable us to enforce business logic and automate actions based on specific conditions, streamlining processes, reducing manual effort, and maintain consistency across our SharePoint environment. What I've shown you today is powerful on its own. SharePoint's integration with the Power Platform unlocks a world of possibilities for streamlining processes and enhancing productivity. We can automate workflows for streamlining we can automate workflows for more complex steps through Power Automate, create custom applications with Power Apps, and analyze and visualize SharePoint list data with Power BI. With these capabilities, SharePoint becomes not just a repository of data, but a powerful platform for driving efficiency and innovation within our organization. By integrating AI technologies, we can unlock even greater potential and efficiency. For example, in this list, I'm using the AI image description preview module. I'm using the AI image description preview module to analyze the image and generates a user-friendly description and text, saving time and effort. So AI-driven predictive analytics can analyze historical data and in SharePoint lists, spotting patterns and traits that can guide future decisions, whether it's forecasting diseases, progression, or streamlining administrative tasks. AI has you covered. We are very excited about the new directions of SharePoint lists, especially as we integrate it with AI soon. So it will take some time for the AI to get the description and text generated. So we will get back to this page later. All right. That brings us to the end of our deep dive into SharePoint lists. We've covered a lot of ground today, from understanding what SharePoint lists are to exploring their features, and even looking at how we can enhance their functionality with AI technologies. And I hope you found this session insightful and that it has sparked ideas on how you can leverage SharePoint lists in your own work. Now I'm sure you have questions or thoughts that you'd like to share. So let's move on to our Q&A session. Please feel free to ask anything related to today's topic. And remember, there are no silly questions. Every question is a step towards learning. And so who wants to go first?
We have a couple of questions in the chat, Michelle.
Mhm.
A couple of people asked about sharing with others, your list or any, component of SharePoint. Is it possible to share with people outside of Weill Cornell?
Yes. So SharePoint in WCM is cloud-based, so there's no limited to internet access or what kind of device you are using. And SharePoint users from approved institutions can be grant access to files and sites and also lists in SharePoint.
Okay. Is there a KB that I can link people to? I can search for it after this, but
Mhm.
is there a KB that lists those approved domains?
Yes, I think we have a list of like the approved domains. Yeah.
Okay, I have a question from Michele who's raising his hand. 1 second. Michele, you should be seeing something to unmute.
No, I was gonna ask the same question. Which one are the approved domain and what's the procedure to add people to the approved domain?
As I remember, all the like the EDU domains are already approved, and like the NYP users are also approved. And if it's not on our whitelist, you can submit a request to the security team to get approval for the domain.
Thanks, Michele. There's a question from Irene in the chat. Can a SharePoint list have multiple tabs like an Excel spreadsheet, or are they just different lists entirely?
Different tabs. In SharePoint, in one particular list, in one list, you can have different views. So is that similar to the tabs you're asking?
I think I know what you're talking about, Michelle. I don't think it's like a tab. Like I think she's talking about if could you have different lists on top of each other, like in Excel, like different worksheets. And
Uh,
yeah,
no, it's not tabs, but in SharePoint, in one SharePoint site, you can create as many lists as you want.
got it. Irene, I hope that answers your question, but if not, just message me again in the chat. Sarah asked, is this similar basically to Google Sheets, but for a Microsoft environment?
Yeah, it's similar to Google Sheets, but yeah, you can have more customization on it.
Veronica asks, if we link the list to multiple Excel files, will the list be updated when Excel files get updated?
Right now the answer is no, because you can so if you already have a list, you can export the list the data into a spreadsheet, or if you don't have a list yet, you can import the data from Excel to the SharePoint site, but there's no synchronization between them right now.
Veronica also followed that up with, if you're changing the list, what is the version ability here? Are there backup versions that are saved within SharePoint? Like if you needed to go back to an old version, could you?
Yes, so we in the SharePoint list we have the version control, and the version control applies to each record, each item in the list. So you can restore the previous version at any time for any of the record in the list. It's not a whole list. You can specify the item, or we call it row in the list. So you can just restore that row specifically.
Would you be able to show on the list where that is, the version control, just so?
Oh, sure. Okay, let me switch the screen.
Yeah, maybe leave it on list just for now in case
Mm.
somebody needs to see a quick demo of anything.
So here, if I select, so I will switch the view to the list view. Okay, then here, if I right-click the one of the record in the list, and you will see in the menu there's version control. And here you can see the different versions. So the version 1, 2, 3, and you can select the one you want to restore, and click restore it.
Oh, nice. Thank you. Kenneth is asking, can lists be part of Teams? Kenneth, I'm assuming like some kind of integration.
Yes, you can open the list from in the Teams as well. Yeah.
Okay. Veronica's asking for more information about the AI demo that you did.
Mhm.
I guess, how are you doing that? Could you like show one more time, like how is the AI being generated? Like what part do you have to go to in SharePoint
Mhm.
to start that process?
Yeah, so the AI here, the AI technology here I'm using is based on the Power Automate, which I just mentioned. So as you can see, I posted the image in the demo, and right now it has the description, which I put in the title field, which is a person using washing hands in the sink. And these are the tags. So the description and the tags are all generated by the AI. The AI module, we use the Power Automate to train it. In the Power Automate, it has a section called AI Hub. So here you can find some samples that Microsoft provided, or you can build up the AI module by yourself and you can train them with the templates, and then you can use it in the SharePoint list and the document libraries. Yeah.
Sorry, I was on mute. Thank you for that, Michelle. Doug, I thank you again too for posting. Doug put the link to the KB with the approved domain. So if you're interested in that, I will include it in the follow-up email, but you can also check it out right now in the chat. There is a question from Thomas. Any tips for good tutorials on working in the SharePoint option system? There's some difficulty, I guess, navigating it, and SharePoint insists on generating entire pages of new menus, making returning to a prior set of options awful, and so on. Is there a more straightforward development environment?
Development environment. So right now, I have to say that the answer is no, because we just we create a site for the users, then user can work on develop the pages and contents on the site, and once it's ready, then you can publish it, and you can unpublish the content that you think it's not ready.
Thomas, I might have some tutorials from LinkedIn and Skillsoft that I can share. I can definitely look for some that may be helpful, but if you have, also some more specific questions on how to use or how to deal with a certain feature in your SharePoint site, I can certainly work with you in reaching the right people who can help you resolve that issue. Could you describe when you would use Excel or when it would be better to use a list in SharePoint?
Okay, so if you want more so SharePoint list is first thing is it's in the SharePoint site. So the SharePoint site is for team collaboration. So you can have people work on this list simultaneously. And also, just as I mentioned, you can build up the workflows and the custom forms on the SharePoint list. It's not just a pure data repository, for data collection. So there are a lot of potentials in the SharePoint list, and you can control the permission based on the list items, not just the whole list. You can set up different permissions based on each record. So there are a lot of potentials, and if you have any special needs, then you can reach out to us. Then we can discuss if it's your requirement needs to be put into a SharePoint list or just a pure Excel file. Yeah.
Michelle, are there any use cases of lists that you have helped with or that you've seen other departments do? There's a question from Kenneth about some particular any use cases that may be helpful, if for somebody who has a SharePoint site.
Yes, we have for example, in our ITS site, we have a list called Jig session. So people can post their ideas. And also we have, for example,
I think it's up there. It is.
Jig session ideas, and people can rate for the different ideas. And we also have we developed the leadership development program registration system for the staff and organization department. So the department chief can register for the leadership to get the leadership development trainings. So that one was also using the SharePoint list. And we have like a managed care system, managed care system for the managed care office. Yeah, we have several projects. And right now, what the big project we are building up is for the HR department, we are building a non-employee application. Yeah, that's what we are doing now.
And Kenneth, I actually use Microsoft Lists outside of SharePoint. I mean, we can integrate it with SharePoint, but we use it on my team as a task tracker. So, you know, whenever we get a request for some type of work, we post that in a list. We have fields where we can talk about whether it's in progress, not started, pending, completed. We have a space for notes about, you know, the progress of the task, who it's assigned to. There's even a space where we can attach documents. So if I was out, let's say my colleague could like follow up on a task that was assigned to me, but she knows I'm out, so she can look at everything that has gone on since, you know, if I'm out of the office. So that's just another use case of potentially using a list.
Yeah.
Cindy asks, when is it better to use SharePoint lists versus Microsoft Tasks or Planner?
Microsoft Tasks. So I think Tasks and the Planner is like more for project management. But the SharePoint list is more for like data collection.
Veronica wanted some clarity with the AI. So you're using it for the pictures, but is there any other, I guess, use case where it might be beneficial to people at Weill Cornell to use that AI feature?
Yes, for example, we have like there's some AI modules that we can use to for the documents, not just for the images. We can, for example, if we have a template for invoice, then we can grab the information from the invoice PDF files and get into the SharePoint list directly. So for the user, for the like the reviewers of the invoice, they don't have to open the PDF file one by one. They can get the information from the file into the list directly. They can see it directly. Yeah, that's another example.
Thanks, Michelle. I'm just going back through the chat. I think we got another one. Is the AI available to all users or just within ITS at the moment?
The AI, I'm not sure about that.
Okay, we can follow up. I can follow up with you, Michelle, after this, and I can put it in the follow-up email. Thanks, Michaela. That's a good question. I also do not know. Let me double check. I'm just backtracking through the chat here to make sure I didn't miss anything. Feel free to put more questions if something has come up in our conversation. I think that was answered as well. I think we've gotten through all the questions. Are there any more questions that anybody has that they want to ask through the microphone, or I'll give another minute to see. Oh, whoa, we just got one, sorry. We have some information from Vinay, who is giving some scenarios of using SharePoint lists instead of Excel. He's mentioning easy setting permissions on each row and item, that you can version each row and item, that there's really good filtering capabilities that may not be available in Excel versus the SharePoint lists, that the views are customizable, and that you can attach multiple documents for a row and item. So those are things that you can do in SharePoint lists that are not necessarily available in Excel. Nazira asks, can you show us how to control who has access to each list?
Oh, sure, no problem. So you guys still can see my screen, right? So
yes, we can see your SharePoint.
Yeah, so here's the list, and here in the information panel, if I open it, I have manage access. So here you can here you can add the person you want to share with, and also you can in SharePoint we have permission groups, so you can also share the list to the groups, so it will be easier for you to manage the members in the group in the future. So here by default we have read-only access, write access, and full control. Full control means you can delete the list, but as well. And also you can use the share button here to share the list out, and the person will receive the email with a link to get access to the site to the list.
Kenneth asks, so when you create a list, where is the data stored? Is it in a database, in Excel? Like, where is the data once you upload it or create a list in SharePoint?
It's the data is stored in the SharePoint site.
Okay. Michele is asking how you create a group that you just showed. How would you create one?
Okay, so if you go to the site permissions, so usually I go to the advanced permission groups here, and by default, when a new site is created, we have visitor, member, and owner groups. And here you can create a new group as you need. So the group can be used to the whole site, and the group can also be used to specific lists or document libraries.
Okay, it looks like people are okay with those answers. Oh, Michele's asking, so if you have a SharePoint site, can you do that as the SharePoint site owner, or does ITS have to set up that group for you?
Owner can create the groups and manage the group members.
Okay, so it's not just dependent on somebody
Right.
in ITS setting it up. Okay, good to know. Are there any other questions that Michelle or I can help with about SharePoint lists? Oh, can you generate a pie chart from your list or visualizations, I guess, of any kind?
Yes, with some third-party tools, we can generate a pie chart, and also, as I mentioned, it can be integrated with the Power BI. So you can use input the data into Power BI to get those charts, pie charts or bar chart. Yeah.
Okay. And with those third-party integrations you mentioned, is that something a person would have to reach out to ITS for assistance?
Yes, because that one is we need a license for the third-party tools for people to use it. Yeah.
Got it. But at least you can still use Power BI, which doesn't require ITS
Right.
assistance to access. Okay, great. We have Michele, are you asking whether you need a site already created to make a group? Is that what you're trying to clarify? Like you can't make a group without a SharePoint site? Yes. Okay. So Michele's asking whether you need a SharePoint site in order to create a group.
Okay, so the group I just showed is the SharePoint group, which is just used in SharePoint. So there's another concept of group, which is the Microsoft group. That's another story. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Does that answer your question, Michele? If not, just let me know and I can try to get more clarity for you. I don't see any more questions. Let me give it a minute just to make sure. Just letting anybody who signed in a little late know, we have been recording our session today. So don't worry if you missed the beginning, we'll send you a follow-up email with a link to the recording. Also with the SharePoint session Michelle did last year, we have that recording. I'll tie them together. And Michelle's mentioned a few features here that I'm going to find the KBs for, and then I'll just pop them all in to that email. So hopefully you have a reference of everything in one place. No problem, Kenneth. Thank you for joining us. I don't see any more questions, but if you think of some questions after the session, that's totally fine. You can just write back to that email I sent you and we'll make sure it goes to the right people to answer, whether it's Michelle or anybody else on our SharePoint or software development services team who can help. But I guess I'll just wrap this up. Thank you guys so much for joining this session and learning more about SharePoint lists. And thank you to Michelle for taking us through how we would do this in SharePoint and, you know, all the different ways that you could do it. Hopefully this gives you guys ideas about what you might be able to do with lists. And if you have questions about how to set this up on your own SharePoint site, you know, feel free to reach out and hopefully we can help you go on the right path that gets these lists doing what you need them to do. Thank you guys so much. Have a great rest of the day and a great rest of your week. And we'll see you at another Tech Tuesday. Thank you.
Thank you, Vanessa.
Thanks, Michelle.